Hi everyone, hello, and my name is Mrs. Rehan Hemnath, and I would like to I would like to spend some time with you to share some thoughts about leadership management. So, we are dealing with the soft skills and we are on the training about soft skill training. So, we already discussed what is a soft skill. Soft skill are the one which actuates us. So soft skill are the one that makes us to do all the things in a very perfect way and also in a very effective way. So one of the good soft skill is leadership. So leadership is not only a very good soft skill as well as it is a very essential soft skill also to work in an organization or to lead an organization or to create an organization or to run an organization. So leadership is a very essential quality. So I would like to take this topic as a separate one since it is very essential and since it is very important thing to be noted, and it is a very essential quality that we need to self-examine ourselves, and we need to put a conclusion or we need to find out where we are in this soft skill. So taking no more time, let me go into this discussion. So leader, of course you have heard this word from your school days. In your school days, you might have been a leader in your classroom, or you might be a leader in your sports team, or you might be a leader in any of things. Or of course you could hold some captainship through your school days in your past days. So at that time, the very first feel when you stand in front of your congregation, or when you stand in front of your classroom, or when you stand in front of your team, and when you comment something, that feel is really a good one, and that feel is really a precious one also. So to be a leader is not a very casual thing. To be a leader is not a very ordinary thing. So leader is a thing that is that forms a good base for an action, that forms a good base for an task to be performed, or leaders for the base for the things that is scheduled. So here when comes into a management, we have two things, leadership and management. We have two sectors in an organization, the leader people and the management people. So these two sectors have different roles and they must go hand in hand. They are not the same thing, of course, they are not the same thing. Leaders and managers are not the same one, but they must go in hand. How the manager is very much important in an organization, the same leader is that much very important in an organization. So they are not the same thing, but they should work together. They should go hand in hand. They should be in a parallel way. Their attitude and their priorities and uh, their schedule making, everything should be hand in hand. That makes an organization very successful. So they are necessarily linked. Necessarily linked means, of course, they both, the managers as well as the leaders, should be linked in a activity. So nobody should be unlinked. If an action is performed without linking the manager, of course it could not get some recognitions. Of course it could get into a way that is apart from the goal of an organization. And also, if a task is linked without a leader, of course it will not go in a very good way. The employees could not be coordinated in a very single point. So in all the every actions, the managers and leaders should be linked, so that this point says they are necessarily linked. So any effort that separates these two people will not bring a very good solution. Any effort which separates these two people, or any discrepancies which separates these two people, or any kind of relationship breakage, so that makes these two people, the managers and the people, to live or to work separately, that would, it would cause more problems. So we cannot bring a solution to a problem. So that much the linkage of the leader and the manager is very much important. So who is a manager and who is a leader? The manager is the one, he is the person who organizes to plan or coordinate the actions or any task or anything. But a leader is one who is to inspire and motivate. See, you could see the difference in actions, right? The manager's job is to plan. He will plan. I mean, for example, if we are conducting, that is, if you are conducting any seminars or if you are conducting any events or any such kind of trainings in your college or in any of an organization, the manager will decide the date, the manager will decide the resource person, the manager will decide the person, and the manager will decide the place of occurrence, everything. So that is the manager's job. So the manager will plan and he will organize, and he will appoint a leader or he will appoint the separate teams with the separate captains, and he will hand over the separate responsibilities to the persons, and just he will coordinate the actions or the responsibilities of the captains or the leaders. So that is the work of the manager. But whereas when it comes into a leader or when it comes into a captain, so the leader's job is to inspire and motivate. So the leader is the one who makes the work actually happening. So he is given a team of members or he is given a kind of people who are actually going to perform that work. So leader is the one who is going to inspire the workers and he is going to motivate the workers and he is going to make the work actually happen. That is the role of the leader. So organizing, planning and coordinating is important at the same time. So motivating the workers and getting more work and make the workers to work effectively for the task to be successfully completed is also an important. So that makes the manager and leader have that is playing the different role, but they are linked together. So this is what the relationship between the leadership in an management. So there are certain kinds of concepts in relationship. So much of people and so much of researchers have defined the leadership in a different way. So I would like to quote some of the uh, things that the great persons have explained about the leadership. The one thing is, so Josh, he is a person, Warren Bennis. Warren Bennis, he is a good motivator and he is a good skillful leader as well. He defined the leadership as, so the leadership is like, or running an organization is like conducting a symphony orchestra. Symphony orchestra means an orchestra which contains different kinds of instruments, and where the 20 or 30 people plays together. So 20 or 30 people who holds different kinds of skill sets, and they have different kinds of instruments, and they have different time to play, and they have different tune to play. So you could see so much of difference among the 20 people, but the 20 people should put all their efforts together, should put that is they should put all their skills together to make a symphony orchestra. So there is an excellent coordination you could notice in the symphony orchestra. So the same is like an organization. So the organization is a place where you get so much of people with different kinds of skills, different kind of any cultural differences, language differences, and they have different kinds of beliefs, and all of them cannot be motivated with a single point. So, but all of them should work in a very good coordination for the task to be successfully completed. So this is what he explained. So the organization, running an organization is like conducting an symphony orchestra that improves, that needs more coordination and more unity in diversity. And this is a second point I want to quote out. So his name is Jago. Jago explained the leadership in a very great way. So he said, good leaders are not, that is, they are made, they are not born. So so much of people used to say like this. So leaders are born by birth. Of course, the leaders are born by birth at sometimes, but the very essential thing, that is the one more thing in a different perspective, what we can see is leaders are not born, they are made. So they are made by the situations, they are made by the opportunities. So even if you have a desire and if you have willpower, or if you want, that is, if you wish to become a good effective leader, definitely you can be a very good leader. So it doesn't need any family background, it doesn't need any set of skills, or it doesn't need any kind of motivational programs, anything. So what does it needs means, it needs a process of self-study, it needs a process of education, it needs a process of continuous training, and it needs a process of experience. So all these self-study, education, your training, your experiments, your experience will put together into a leadership. So the very important thing is self-study. So you should know to study yourself. That is a very hard thing. Why I am saying this is a very hard thing means, of course we know what are all the disabilities we have. We know what are all the things that we are covered up with unnecessary thoughts. But what is that pathetic situation is, we find very hard to accept ourselves. So we sometimes we feel very easy to study ourselves, but we find very hard to accept ourselves. Self study means both studying ourselves as well as accepting ourselves. So we should do a self study, and also we should accept what we have, so that we can change what we need to change. We can develop what we want to develop in ourselves. So that is an ending process of self study. Studying, accepting, changing. That we call it as process of self study. And it should be never ended. Never ended means in all the situations we should study ourselves. In all the situations we should change something. In all the situations we should make ourselves clear. So this he explained as, what is a leadership. So, and another point I want to put out, just a minute, and to inspire your workers into higher levels of teamwork, there are certain things you must be, know, and do. So if you want to inspire, or if you want to lead a team of a group of people, so if you like to lead a team of people, so what you can do is, a good leader is one. What is the essential quality of a leader to lead a group of people is, you should inspire them, and you should motivate them, and you must be, know, and do. What is the thing? So first of all, you should know your team members. Who are your team members, and what is their quality, and what is their positive attitudes, and what is their negative attributes, and what is their general behavior in an organization. All these things you should know. So as like how you are studying yourself, you should study the team member, your particular team member. So that helps you to motivate your team member to a higher level. So that helps you to motivate your team member in a very effective way, that they can be driven in. Because when you are asking a person to work for something, first thing what they will do is, they will find very hard to accept the work first. So before putting their skills, before finding some way to finish that work, the very first thing, the very first stone you want to move as a leader is, you want to make them to accept the work. You want to understand them how much the work is very important, and you want to make them to understand that they should accomplish this work in a very perfect way. So for that, what you want to do is you want to inspire them. When you inspire them, they will start to believe you. Then they will start to accept you, and they will start to follow your principles, and they will start to meet your expectations. So the very first workers, you want to inspire your workers. So how can you inspire your workers? Definitely it will not come naturally. So nobody can inspire someone naturally. So what they can do is they are required through continuous work and study. Of course, the same point is repeating it here. So good leaders are continually working and they are studying to improve their leadership skills. They will not rest on their platform. They will not rest on the platform where they reach. I mean, they will not rest on the laps and leaps they reached. So when you work continuously on yourself, automatically you will start to focus. That is, when you start to change yourself, when you start to study something in yourself, then it would be easy for you to study someone, and it would be easy for you to change someone. If you feel very hard to change yourself, absolutely you would feel very hard to change someone else also. So a good leader can be formed only by continuous working and self study to improve their leadership skills. And you should not rest on a point, and you should not get satisfied at a point that you are doing good. So you should go on a continuous work. And how can we define a leadership? Leadership is a process by which a person influences others to accomplish an objective and directs the organization in a way that makes it more cohesive and coherent. So, leadership is not a person, it's not a personal character actually. Leadership is not a personal character, it is a process. What does a process means? Process means an continuous action or a different kinds of actions that can be performed together, or a different kinds of actions that can be scheduled at a particular time. So this is we call it as leadership. So it's a process, and the process can be done by a person, and the person should influence other self. I mean others. He or she should influence others. Why they need to influence means to accomplish a task, or to accomplish the objective of the company, or to accomplish the success of an organization. And it should be in a way that it should be more cohesive and more coherent. So that maintains the quality of the leadership. Yes, of course, the leaders can work in many parts. For example, if an organization is planned to maintain the sales for the upcoming year, so they are doing good and they would like to maintain the same sales point in the upcoming year. So here, the leader's objective is to maintain the sales point in the upcoming year. So what they can do? So they cannot simply sit in a place, and they cannot simply commanding the people to work daily and just asking the report daily and just asking how much sale did they done at that particular day. So it's not a kind of good leadership. What's a good leadership means? So when you say something your team should get inspired with it. So when they will get inspired with it, when you work with them, or when you help them to find a job, that is to complete a job very easily, when you help them to move into a comfortable platform, or when you help them to feel the success in a sales, so that kind of inspirations you could do. So you can organize the people, and you can organize the event, and you can give them a very trustable and very effective way in accomplishing the task, and you could give them some creative ideas, or you could give them that creative that is, you could help them to find out their creative skills that actually makes the objective to be completed. So in that way, a leader can easily inspire a person, or a leader can easily inspire a team, and they can make the team to work together, and they can make the objective to be accomplished very soon and in also a very effective way. So leadership is an individual who influences a group of individuals to achieve a common goal. So you are an individual, you are going to inspire an individual, but not a single individual, a group of individuals. And what is this process? We were discussing about the leadership is a process. So what is this process? How the process happens? So leaders carry out the process. What is the process means? By applying their leadership knowledge and skills. So this is called process leadership. So the leader will apply his knowledge, and the leader will apply the skills, and he will take an output, and he will check how effective it is, and how it is very close to the target, or how it is very close to the objective. And he will do a study, and he will try to change something, and again he will put out his knowledge and skills, and he will get the output. Again he will compare it with the objective or the target of an organization. So this is called the process leadership. Of course, that we know, that is, we have some traits that can influence our actions, but we should have a very continuous process in the leadership. So we can define another type of leadership process called trait leadership. So trait leadership is the thing, that is, we follow some traits to influence our actions. For example, we have some traits like maintaining punctuality always. If a leader is maintaining punctuality always, then automatically the team member will be inspired, and they will start to follow the punctuality. If the leader is trying to, that is, if the leader is actually listening to everyone, then he or she can inspire the team members, and the team members will start to listen to others. So this we call it as tribe leadership. So some traits that influence the people. Of course, these traits are not the thing that comes by naturally. Some traits we can develop. So punctuality will not come by nature. It can be developed. So listening to others, it can be developed. So speaking gently, it is a trait, and that you can develop. So these kind of traits can influence other people, and that also helps the process to be more effective. And so leadership is a learned and skills, yeah, of course we did, and the knowledge processed by the leader that can be influenced by the others, by their attributes or traits, or as per the leader's belief, the leader's values, the leader's ethics, the leader's character. Everyone can influence the people, that make the process very knowledge and effective. And these knowledge and skill contribute directly to the process of leadership, while the other attributes give the leader certain characteristics that made him or her unique. So skills, knowledge and attributes make the leader, which is one of the very essential part of an organization. So of course your knowledge, your skill. A leader should use their knowledge and skill to complete a task, and he or she should have some unique characters, some unique attributes, and they should follow some traits to influence the people. That also contributes an equal amount of improvement in the process. And here we would like to discuss about some 4 factors of leadership, that is, what are all the essential factors of leadership. So if you want to be a successful leader, what are all the 4 factors you should keep in your mind to be a good leader as well as to lead a good organization? So who is a leader? The very first factor, the leader must have an honest understanding of who he is or who she is, and what he or she knows, and what he or she can do. Also, so the leader is a follower. Not only the leader, he is also a follower. And anyone, not only these are all the qualities, or not particularly for the leaders, for anyone. So this is what I have noted in the very first slide. So you should do a very honest study on yourself, whom you are, and what are your positive attributes, of course, and what are your negative attributes. So you should do a self study, and you should do a very honest self study, and you should understand who you are and what kind of activities you can do in a very best way, what kind of activities you are actually struggling to do. So these kind of things can happen only with a honest self study. So you should do a honest self study, and you should accept yourself, and there you can change yourself. So honest understanding of an individual person, that is honest understanding of themselves, is the first factor that we should note down in a leadership. And if the leader is a successful, see, if the leader is successful, or if he has some good traits, or if he has some good attributes, definitely they can inspire the people. Or if you do not have any traits, or if you do not have any good ethics, or if you do not follow any professional behavior, then automatically you will feel a lack of belief among the people. The people will not believe you. If the people is not believing you, they will not follow you as well. If they do not trust, or if they lack their confidence in their leader, and they will be uninspired. If they are uninspired, they will not follow you, and they will not listen to your words, and the result is the objective is unaccomplished. So, to be successful, definitely you should inspire your team members, and also not only you can convince your follower, that is your team members, and also you should have some skill to convince your senior supervisors, the managers, and everybody. So you should inspire the people who is above you, and you should inspire the people who is next to you, that is who is following you. And one more factor you should know is different people require different styles of relationship, that is their leadership. All the people does not need a same type of relationship. For example, a new employee, he needs more supervision than an experienced employee. So if you are a leader, generally you feel that forcing the people and continuously monitoring the people and pushing the people will not work. So you are a kind of leader who gives more freedom to a team member, or who gives more amount of free time to a team members. That you are not a person who is not focusing the time they are doing, but you are only focusing on the result they are doing. Imagine that you are a kind of leader, but this kind of leadership will not be applied to all the persons. For example, if you are supposed to guide a person who is very new to an organization, this kind of leadership will not work, because a new person needs a more kind of supervision, and he needs a more kind of knowledge to be taught, and he needs more amount of attention to be on the person, so that you can easily find out the person at the early stage, and you can easily find out the person's mistakes at the early stage, so that would not actually delay the process of the task. So different kind of leadership is needed for the different kind of people. An organization is a place where you find different kind of people, they are from different culture. So in that cases, what you can do is you just study the people in your team, and you just study the role of the people in the team, and how much they are dedicated, and how much they are true to the responsibility, everything. Then you form a different leadership process for the different people in your team. So that helps you a very great way, and that helps you to be a very successful leader. So different people require different styles of leadership. And next one. So of course, a person who lacks motivation, they need a great motivation. And you could find some people, they are self-motivated. So in that cases, in those kind of people, motivating them to a higher extent will not work, because that is not that that much needed. The people are not needed that kind of motivation. So in that cases, you can reduce the motivation. Just you can applaud them, or just you can give them a task, and you can silently watch how they are doing. So different kind of people, you could meet different kind of people, do a study over the people and do it. You should know your people attribute, and you should know what your people know. You should know what your people can do. So understanding of human nature is the fundamental starting point in a leader, so that you should know in a very current way, right? And the next one is communication. So communication is a very thing that is needed. This is also a factor of a leadership. Before that, I would like to give you an activity here. What is your activities? So just imagine your past days in your life, where you were about to lead a person, or where you were about to help a person in their struggle. Definitely you might have helped someone who were in a great struggle and who were struggled to come out of a situation. In that cases, what you can do is you just take a paper, or you just take a note and write down all the situations that have happened in your life. So who is the person, where you have met them, what is their problem, and how the person shared everything to you, why the person trusted you so much to share everything, and when you gave them some ideas, how they easily accepted that idea, and how they started to perform, that is what you suggested them, all the thing. So when you write all these things, you can easily find out what is the leadership quality in you, and also note down what is the attire of you and what is your trait that actually inspired them. So you just write in a paper what has happened in your life and how it was successfully solved. So there you find yourself as a very great leader. So I would like to I would like to note here what the thing is. I just want to give you a live 5 minutes about writing up these such situation, so that you can find out your leadership attire. And then if you start to listen the remaining part, so that could be very much useful to you to understand yourself and to uh, help yourself also. Yes, so just I want to give you only 5 minutes to write up the situation. Please do it. Okay, hope you had a great time with you, I think so. So now you come to know what is your attribute and what is your trait to be a leader. And definitely you might have crossed this. That is, of course, if you have written to about 2 to 3 people, you have followed a different kind of leadership in the 3 different people. And if their lack of motivation, definitely your motivating skill would have helped them, and understanding their emotions and understanding their real situation also helped them. So these kind of attributes or these kind of traits so help you to be a very good leader. And here we would like to discuss the next thing. So based on the study you did now about yourself, so we can take to the next level of that problem to be solved is a communication. So you lead through two-way communication. So two-way communication in the sense you will communicate something and you will receive something for that we call it as two-way communication, so giving and receiving. For example, when you are about to communicate to your people, so that you would not ask them to perform anything that you would not be willing to do first, right? So if you are not willing to anything, and if you are communicate the same to the people, you cannot make the people do work. So, what and how you communicate either builds or harms the relationship between you and your employees. So, communication is a very important skill to be a leader. How we communicate? If you communicate a thing that shows that actually you are not interested in it, then it is very hard for you to make your team to work on that same work with a good force. Yes. So when you communicate the same thing in a very energetic and in a very positive way, definitely it will affect the people. For example, if your company sets a target of 2 crores in the upcoming year, but you know the situation is not good, that the situation is not matching the demand of your organizations. You clearly know that there is not going to be a huge demand for your project, for your product, but what you want to do is you want to attain the sales of a 1 crore. You want to generate a revenue of 1 crore in the upcoming year. So you have attended the meeting and you are given all the tasks and you are given all the details and the date of the task to be accomplished. Now you are about to communicate the same to your team member. In that way, how you communicate the same thing? Of course, you know that it's not possible. Definitely, it's not a thing that is very easy to be accomplished, or that is to be done at a particular time. And the same thing is, even the team member, your team members will know the same, that it is a very hard thing to achieve or it is not a possible thing to achieve. Of course, your team members may too have the same feeling. But what is your responsibility? You want to make them to do the same work what you are not actually fond of and what they are not actually fond of. This is really a challenging situation to a leader. So, in these kinds of challenges, how you communicate the message to your team person, how you communicate the goal to your team person, how you communicate the same intention to your team person, that really works a lot. Of course, you can quote the same thing in a positive way, and also you can quote the same thing in a negative way. Not only in the positive and negative way, you can also quote the same things, possibilities and impossibilities. So the possibilities, how much that is, how it is important to discussing about the possibilities of an event. It is also and very important to discuss about the impossibilities of an event. But how you are expanding your points. how you are explaining your point. So, what is the preferences? What is the priority you are giving? Whether you are prioritizing the possibilities of the task or whether you are prioritizing the impossibilities of the task. That is what need to be noted here. So, of course, you can give the possibilities of the task, and also you can give the negative, that is impossibilities of the task, and you should give a clear clarity about how to change the impossibilities into possibilities. That is what makes a that is difference between a normal person and a leader. So all the person can easily find out what are all the possibilities and what are all the impossibilities, but only the leader can give a solution to the impossibilities. Only the leader can change the possibilities, that is change the impossibilities into an possibility situation. So this is what we are trying to do. This is where we see the difference between the normal people and the leader. So how you communicate. So that will help the process to be done faster, or that helps really the actual team members to accomplish the work. At the same time, so how you communicate, it will construct, that is it will build a relationship or it will break a relationship. Either you can build a relationship or you can break a relationship. That is completely depends upon the communication skills of a leader. So the non-verbal communication, you will follow much of the non-verbal communication. What is the non-verbal communication? So you are conducting meetings and you are conducting the seminars to give the importance of the punctuality, but nobody is going to do that. So those kind of verbal communications is not giving will not give that much effect on following a following a discipline or following it right anything. But there the non-verbal communication will actually work. What is the non-verbal communication? If you are punctual, automatically everybody will be punctual. So most of the non-verbal communication will change the people or will inspire the people. So whether the verbal communication or the normal non-verbal communication, you should be very clear in your communication, and you should give the detailed explanations wherever only it is necessary. So that we call it as the communication factor of the leader. And so all situations are different, right? So when we are speaking about the situations, all situations are different. So what you do in one situation will not work in another. For example, in one situation you will leave your employees unattended. So you will not follow your employees, you will not follow them, or you will not treat them in a way that they should work always. But you cannot follow the same in another situation. For example, if you are given a higher target, the same kind of leadership will not work. So that is giving very large scale of relaxations and giving unwanted that is the vacations and holidays, these kind of things. So of course it would help at one sometime if they are finished the target or if they have completed the target. So you can give them some sense of relaxations, or you can give them some extra leaves so that you can encourage them to perform the next task. But if you are given a task, or if you are given a very great amount of money to be renewed, in that time the same tried will not work. Giving relaxations and giving unnecessary work will not work. So that's what it says here. All situations are different. So what do you say do in the same situation? It will not be applied to the next situation. And for example, you may need to confront on an employee for an inappropriate behavior. But if the confrontation is too late or too early or too harsh or too weak, then the results may prove inefficient. Of course, confronting an employee is very important. So for their inappropriate behavior, because it will harm the organization. But what is that confrontation? When that confrontation should happen? And do you have any confirmed sense about what they have done in an organization? So after getting confirmed, after discussing the same thing with the person, or after everything changing him to a new team, it will not work. So the right action should be taken in a right situation. So what we call it as confrontations. So the confrontations should be on the same time, and you should not leave any lag in between. That in that way, then you can prove that the result is very effective. Also, the situation normally has a greater effect on leader's action than his or her right. Of course, it's a point that to be noted. So a leader has many traits, of course, being punctual, being strong belief, a positive attitude, a self-confidence. You have so much of traits that inspire the people, but not only the trait, your decision making and what is your action in a situation that helps the organization to grow more and more. So the trial will have a certain stability of time. Of course, it will give some good impression, but they have little consistency across the situation. So these kind of trials, not only the trials, the way how fast you act in an organization, the way how fast you work out on a problem, so that helps you a lot to be a very great leader. And so what are all the forces that what are all the forces that helps you, that struggles you, or that actually makes you not to be a very good leader? We are going to discuss about the thing. So the one of the factor is your relationship with your seniors. So this is a factor which affects the leader. So what kind of action it is means, of course you are a good leader, you are leading a very good team, you are capable of doing so much of good actions and traits in your organization. In that case, you will start to get some negative consequences from your leaders, because those kind of senior leaders are different and the bottom kind of leaders are different. So, what is the relationship with your senior? So they will get to know about you, what you are doing, and how you are managing everything. So at that time, they will feel what they feel means they will feel a little bit not comfortable in speaking to you in your language or in your accent or in your situation. So they would like to speak on the place where they are, and they would like to speak on the place what they experienced before. So they cannot come to know how much you are experienced in handling the people, or how much you are experienced in handling a situation. So your relationship with your seniors will always affect you to be a very good leader of your fellow team fellows. And the skill of your followers, of course, the skill of your followers struggles, that is obstructs you a lot to be a good team member for or follower. I mean the team leader. For example, the skill that is the skill of the followers or the skill of the happy team members. So when you are about to place that kind of thing, or that kind of things what we have discussed, what we want to do is their skill will affect a lot. So some people knows how to do a smart work, some people knows how to do a hard work. So there we combined the hard work and smart work. The people will work together. Who do smart work will do smart work always, who do the long work they will do the long with always. So this is we call it a skill of the fellow leader. So not only the skill of the fellow leader, but also and everyone who is in the organization, that forms a very good skill. And how your organization is organized. So of course it is the very base of an organization, that is how the organization is organized, or how the thing is done, everything. So this also will affect the leader. For example, leader is the one who did the great things, but he is not given that much recognition in organization. A leader is capable of leading a group of 20 to 30 members, but he is not given that much of team people in an organization. So in that way, the leader lacks a lot, where he finds very difficult to go for some sessions. So here comes, so, what is the leadership, and what are all the facts of the leadership, and what are all the factors of the leadership, and how a person can be a very good leader, and what are all the things he or she should concentrate in making themselves as the leader, and what is the process of leadership. Right. And we will discuss about the types of leadership and different concepts of leadership in the upcoming session. Thank you.